20 to 30 minutes, depending on how it goes. So go grab yourself a coffee, come learn something that might impact your prop firm trading success and your ability to make money through prop firms long term. Always good to expose yourself to new ideas and just in general to hear various concepts on how to trade prop firm challenges. That's what I'm going to talk about today is the risk systems that I personally use mostly. So what I'll do, the format will be like we'll just look at a prop firm challenge from a specific prop firm, and then I'll just go over how I would personally trade it in terms of risk. So that should help quite a bit, actually. I think that's the biggest uncertainty and weakness that most traders have with prop firms, in my experience. So it's always a good thing to cover for sure. All right. So how's chat doing? Anything new and fun? Gold's kind of bouncing around. The US 500, same thing. We had a large sell-off and then a recovery today. So we actually ended at the open price. So all that drama for nothing. Yeah, DXY, a little sell off there. I'm planning to short GJ. Is that GBPJPY? I think so, right? Planning to short GBO. While people roll in here, I'll just take a quick look. What did we do with this, actually? Oh, okay, that's old. This is all these lines are old. Yeah, well, you know what? With GBP/JPY, we have this gap that was kind of formed and never got filled. Generally, what happens is eventually that price action comes back down and fills the gap. So that might not be a bad play. And we got a little bit of a pullback here too. Sellers clearly control some high volume 4-hour candles. Bearish, so yeah, might be a nice play. Let me know how it works out. Plain Jane took a small loss. Yeah, Plain Jane just got launched, so. Hola Prime. Sounds familiar. Sounds familiar? Let's see. Yeah, I've seen it before, actually. Oh, warning. Warning. Just avoid it. There's no point, seriously. You can't even, like... yeah. Let's see what the 1-stars are saying. Can you even leave a review? A day ago are too legit. Look at this guy, one star. Hola Prime, you are too legit, I swear. Whoever they paid off here, they just did not do it right. Oh, that's funny. Oh man, that's hilarious. Hey, they respond to the 1-stars though. Been winning. Yeah, see, this is the issue when you see 1-stars. I like to see 1-stars that complain about the rules. That's fine, but when you have 1-stars complaining about like payouts and stuff, it's a huge red flag. Huge. Yeah, see, this guy's complaining about rules. It might be new rules that could be bad. Run, don't walk. Whoa, this guy's paragraph. They did him dirty, I think. Ah, see, there was no valid reason for not issuing my payout. Yeah, that's not good. Well, I don't know. I personally wouldn't, but you could try it out if you wanted to. Let me know how it goes. Is Maven still working fine? Let me check Maven. Let's see. Trust pilot. Maven. Let's take a quick peek at these guys. Yeah, they got 4,800 reviews. That's pretty good. Yeah, their 1-star ratio is actually not bad. It's a red flag to me. Like, they have 4 stars all the way to 1 stars. It's a red flag to me when they have like a rating of like 4 and it's all 5-star or 1-star, right? Because that's just not, that's all the 5-stars aren't real, right? Like if there's no 4, 3, or 2 1-stars. Oh, 4 days ago, breached. Yeah, spreads. You're gonna see a lot of complaint about that. Spreads. That's their thing, right? The high spreads. Like every time I say Maven in any sentence, someone comes out of the bushes and they say spreads. Seriously. There's somebody waiting in the bushes every single time I say the name Maven. They have it locked and loaded, ready to go. Yeah. I have requested my payout birthday. Have what? I have requested my payout birthday. Have not read my payout. They told me that I have to break consistency rule. Dude, sometimes like this is why I could not do a prop firm, because you have like people like buying challenges and just trading it however, and like not even understanding what the rules are. Like obviously sometimes prop firms will do shady things and like switch up rules and stuff, but yeah, I mean it must be such a headache trying to explain a simple rule to someone that has never even heard of rules before. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it doesn't seem too nightmare of a company. They sent me an email approval. They did not give me a live account. Scammer beware. Weird. No details. Dashboard issue. Don't buy, please. Yeah, it's not too bad because they're super popular, so they're gonna get more reviews naturally. But I don't see very like too many red flag reviews. A lot of like broken English reviews, which is weird. Broken English. I think their main customer base is Nigeria. Last I checked, because they did a huge marketing campaign in Nigeria, so that could be an issue too. Just the language barrier between like them trying to explain the rules and then, you know, how that goes. Have I tried top one trade prime accounts? Prime accounts, no. Oh, actually, top one trader, top one trader. I think this is it, right? You're talking about the Forex one? Yo, what's up, Khan? Prime? Oh, this one, Instant Prime. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so here's the thing about okay, so this is if you're gonna take instant funded accounts, I would take the futures version, top one futures. This is the one I took. This is the one I did, and I actually hit 2 payouts. It's gonna go on to 3. They're gonna put me on live after 3, which is annoying, but whatever. I don't know what that means. We'll see. Top one futures here. Oh, did they change their? Oh, they changed their website. Yikes! I like the old one. I'm probably just being like stubborn though. So yeah, this is what I took. I took the 150K. I paid like around 500 for it. They always have sales. I think I got it for 50% off or whatever. It's super straightforward actually. They removed this daily loss limit, which is actually massive in terms of probability. So let's talk about the risk here, the risk model. Okay, so if we look at the Forex one, the instant funding, it's the same. It's almost the same as their futures one, except they have a loss limit, right? And that's about it. They probably use the rest. They probably use the rules about the same. It's cheaper though, so that's why they have the loss limit. But this loss limit here is going to make it significantly harder to hit a payout. Trust me. So I think the futures one's better. So this is what I do here. Okay, so in terms of risk, this is how I hit the payouts. I've hit 3 payouts already with these guys. Max payout too. 3,500 each request. So what I do here, look at this. So we have a $4,500 max loss, okay? So just remember that. Now we have to make, where's the profit on here? Hello? Am I missing something? How much? Oh, yeah, never mind. It's instant funding. Sorry. Yeah, so this is. So, okay. They don't say it here. This is the problem. This is why you have to read through the FAQ. Now I can show you. Let's go to FAQ real quick. Let's open this in a new tab. Let's see if we can find this instant funding. Let's go to payouts here. Okay, profit target requirements explained. Maybe that's it. Okay, here we go. So this is instant funding right here. So in order to be eligible for your first payout on that instant funding, you need to make 6% profit. Okay. So let's just do, if we look at the 100K account, you would need to get your balance to 106,000 before you can request a payout. Now, the only other condition is that you need to do that within a 20% consistency. Okay. But you don't want to go over, like if it's 6%, you don't want to go over 6%. Otherwise, it gets, your probability goes down. So you don't want to target like 10%, 15%. There's no point because you can't request all of that as a payout anyway. Your max payout is 3,500, which is somewhere in here. It's somewhere in the FAQ. I'll just tell you off the top of my head, I know. So the max you can withdraw is 3,500. So you might as well just bring your balance up to 106,000. Withdraw 3,500 of that, right? And then you can run it again. So what I do, because it's 20% consistency, this is how I do the risk. So let's just draw it here. Okay. We're going to draw it. Okay, so I have, let's look at the 100K account. I have $3,000 of drawdown. Okay, and I need to make $6,000 at a 20% consistency. So let's bring out the calculator. Okay, so $6,000, right? That's what I need to make minimum for a payout. And then you times that by 0.2. That's 20% consistency. So this is how much you need to make every single day. $1,200. Okay. You don't want to make more than that. You don't want to make less than that. Well, you can make less than that, but I would target exactly 1,200. So that's what I would do. So this is exactly what I do. So $1,200, right? 20% consistency. So that means I need 5 days of 1,200. So this is exactly how I trade it. I set up my trade like this. I go, the market's not closed here. Let me go to a futures. Futures. I wonder if I can log into an account here. So it's simpler. Hang on 1 second. Let me do that. Then we can actually look at some numbers. I'll log into an account. Here we go. Okay, this is a funding ticks account, but we can just use, we can just use it for an example. Okay, so we're on gold futures, right? I'll go to the 5-minute chart, whatever. Hey, look at that. I'm going to be going short on gold here soon, probably. Just for a short-term trade. Let's see. So let's say we're going to go short on gold here. Okay. Generally what I do. Okay, so we have a $100,000 account. Okay. So we can adjust this after. So I'm going to right click this. And then I'm going to do about one contract per $1,000 of drawdown. That's what I usually do. So if we look at, did I do that right? Oops. Yeah, I guess so. So if we look at the 100K account, we have $3,000 of drawdown. So I'll do one contract per $1,000. That's just a general rule. You can go a little bit above or below if you want, but that's kind of like a base point I use. So $3,000 of drawdown, that's 3 contracts, okay, for futures. That would be equivalent to 3 lots on gold. Okay, so let's go back here. So let's just put in 3. Look, I was going to go short on gold, but I'm doing a live right now, so I can't. Sad. We'll see, actually. It might. It's just a little candle. Okay, so 3 contracts, right? Okay, so remember what I said, 1,200. I have $1,200. So I'm going to set up my trade like this. $1,200, right? And then if we look here, I have $3,000 of drawdown. There's no daily loss limit, so we don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 3,000, just over 3,000. I'll set it to like 3,100 or whatever, right? Something like that. So that's going to be my trade setup, and it's an inverse risk to reward. Now, what this does is it does a few things. It gives you a base probability to win the trade of around 70% in this situation, a little under 70%, maybe 66%. But then if you're going with this trade's going to bother me because it's dumping right now. I want to take it. If you're going with an inverse risk to reward, you really just kind of want to look for some momentum to trade with. Now, I know the momentum's bullish here, but the reason why I would go short here is because there was no liquidity swept below the open price. That's usually... I trade early Asian session like that sometimes, where I target open price reversals because that daily candle has to make a wick at some point. So I kind of just look for a quick shift of momentum there. But with an inverse risk to reward, you'll have a high base probability to win. So, oops, I think I said something and my phone went off. You'll have a high base probability to win the trade, which is already very psychologically easy on the trader, right? And I know it's not what you're taught good trading is, and that's what I mean about prop firm trading. It has to be a little bit different, especially when you're trading these future accounts with these consistency rules and all that. The reason why they have a daily loss limit is because they know that the prop firms have the analytics and the data showing that when you cap traders at a daily loss limit, they can't do as high as an inverse risk to reward. Therefore, their probability of success goes down, right? If you can risk your full drawdown, and the reason why this is so effective is because a win streak, when you have a trade setup like this, a win streak is much more common, just naturally. And all you need to do is you need to have a win streak of 5 to hit a payout. That's it. On these instant funding accounts, you need to win 5 trades. It's actually super easy to do. It happens so often, right? It does. It really does, because your base probability is already very high to win the trade. Plus, all you need to do is win 5 trades, and then you're done. Right? You don't want to do this on like a real account or whatever, like with your own money, because eventually you'll hit a loss. But because these are isolated accounts where you have a clear target, right? And you just need to hit 5 wins in a row to hit a payout, then you can start doing these inverse risk reward trades, right? For these futures. And trust me, it works very well. It works very well. I've done it. I've hit on this alone here. I've hit 3 payouts on this model here. I hit 3 payouts already, and I'm working on my 4th. So very profitable. So try that. And like I said, it's like psychologically, it's a lot easier because when you have a lot of breathing room on your trade. The unfortunate thing is sometimes you will lose the trade and then you have to get a new account. That's the catch, right? But over time, this is the most profitable way to trade these future instant funded accounts. Not just the instant funded accounts, but the evals too. So if you do the eval, so let's go back to here. So this is one with the 1 step, right? So so if you don't want to, the benefit is if you don't want to dish out a bunch of money up front, because these are expensive, right? 470 for 100K instant funded. You could go 119 for 100K. The only catch is you have to pass the challenge. And if you do pass, you still have to pay an activation fee of 150. So to get funded, you're going to pay 270 instead of 478. So let's just say half price. The catch is you have to pass an eval. So that's the catch. But the conditions are a little bit better once you're funded. It's a 25% consistency instead of a 20%. So it's a little bit better, but not by much. So if you don't want to dish out as much money, you can try this. But you would do the same method here. You see, this daily loss limit's removed. You need 6,000 profit. same thing as the instant funding. So you do the exact same trade setup. It's a 25% consistency. So let's just whip out the calculator instead. So instead of $1,200, let's go 6,000 times 0.25. So each day you're targeting 1,500. So your trade setup would look like this. If you took the eval, it would look like this instead. So just a slight adjustment. So you would need to win 4 of these in a row instead of 5 of these in a row. Does that make sense? So on the instant fund, you need to win 5 of these in a row. On the eval, you need to win 4 of these in a row. Well, actually, let me explain something. That's on the funded. On these ones, actually, they're really nice because you can pass in one day. So on the funded, that's what you need to do. But if you want to pass the eval, you need 6,000 profit, 3,000 of drawdown. What I normally do in these situations is I usually just do a 1 to 2 R trade. So it's more of a standard trade setup to try to pass the eval, right? So it would look like this. I'm just going to attempt it in one trade. There's no reason for me to waste my time when it lowers my probability. So the problem is the more cute you get with it, the more you trade without trying to get the job done, the lower your probability becomes. The more you trade, the lower your probability becomes for multiple reasons. Contract costs, making mistakes, setting up your trades, exposing yourself to the market, exposing your already gained profits to the market. You might as well just do a 1 to 2 risk reward trade and see if you can pass in one trade. That's it. All right. There's no reason to waste a bunch of time trying to trade this thing like it is your own real account where you're taking like a trade like this. This would be like a very conservative trade, one contract. Maybe you risk 0.5%, right? Risk 0.5% like that. And then you're targeting like a 1 to 3R or something like that. Like that. So that's the type of trade that I would see a lot of traders do, like a lot of traders. They think that's responsible. And sure, maybe it is responsible in a live account, but in my opinion, it's not responsible when you're trading evals because you're just lowering your probability. The reason is you're setting up a 1 to 3R trade. Your base blind probability is 33% to win this trade. So you're very likely to instantly go into drawdown before even seeing profit. So you're already starting off on the wrong foot. So you just have to, when you're buying challenges, you have to approach it from a very aggressive stance. Otherwise, you're not only wasting a bunch of your own time, but you're lowering your odds as well. Okay, so that's kind of the that's what separates successful, profitable prop firm traders from prop firm traders that seem to be struggling quite often, is that they're not aggressive enough. And I get it. Like, you don't want to be a degenerate gambler, but there's a very key point to when you play a game, you want to play it so the odds are in your favor as much as possible. Like if you're playing blackjack, you want to hit when you're supposed to hit and stand when you're supposed to stand, according to the book, to give yourself the best odds. And it's the same thing with prop firm trading. If you set up your risk right, you can give yourself the best odds to start, and then your entry model is going to complement your outcome even more, right? So how much did that drop while I was talking? I was like, I want to go short on gold. Oh wow, that's crazy. Why is it so volatile? Market just opened. It literally pumped up $20 off the market open. And now it's reversing. Oh, I should be trading this right now. What's wrong with me? Should I trade something right now? What do I have here? Dude, I have the chickens account right here. The chickens account has 1,000 profit. Wait for the video. You guys got a sneak peek. It's funny. Yeah, so here, this is okay, so this is what I do. This is a challenge here. So this is funding ticks, okay? So let me show you what I do. I'll take an actual trade. Watch it breach, and you're all going to just laugh at me and say I don't know what I'm talking about. That's probably going to happen. Oops. Funding ticks. He lost an account. He's a phony. Okay, so this is the one I do, Pro plus 50K, right? Sorry about if there's any questions. I can't. I'm in the zone right now. I can't answer questions yet. So we have 2,500 profit target. Okay, and then we have 2,000 of drawdown. 40% consistency. Okay, so just remember that 2,500 profit, 40% consistency. Let's pull up the calculator. So I go 2,500 times 0.4 is 1,000. So I cannot make more than 1,000 a day. If I do, I'm going to have to make even more profit on the account just to pass. So I'll go back to here. So this is how I set up my trade. So you can see the balance here is, well, this isn't a good one because I messed that one up right here. You see the balance right here? 5987. Well, yesterday I took a trade. It looks like this. I'll show you. So remember the drawdown thing I told you about? We have 2,000 of drawdown, so I'm going to do 2 contracts. Let me open up a new trade here. 2 contracts, right? And I'm going to target only 1,000. I don't want to go more. Exactly 1,000, okay? And then this is going to be my max drawdown, which is 2,000. I go slightly over because I want the account to breach if the trade fails. I don't want to leave like $2 in there by accident. It's really annoying because then I just have to waste my time and take another trade, right? So, okay, sorry. Let me set that up again. Okay, let me set it up again. So 2 contracts, right? 1,000. So this is an inverse trade. And 2,000, right? Makes sense. So what I would do here is I would go market sell like that. Okay. So now what we have here is we have an inverse risk reward trade. It's either going to fly up and hit my stop loss, or it's going to come down and hit my 1,000 for the day. And if I hit my 1,000, then I will be at 52,000 roughly, and I'll only need 500 more, right? Because we need 2,500 total. Where did my there we go. We need 2,500 total. So day 1, 1,000, day 2, 1,000, and then day 3, 500. So day 3, my probability is even higher, right? And I do all I think my net profit on funding ticks by running this model is, my ROI is like 300 or 400% over the course of 2.5 months. So it works. And I don't even like think about these trades. Yeah, this thing's gonna pump up and just destroy this account for no reason on me. But let's just see. I probably should have not done this live, but I usually like to do an analysis first, but that's okay. But so what's going to happen here is this thing's going to pump up and hit my overall stop loss, or it's going to come down and it's going to hit my my take profit for the day. It's going to be 1,000, right? And we have to think in terms of probability. So right when I open this trade, my probability is 66%. But because I'm in the drawdown now, my probability is probably around 40%, right? Because I'm $1,000 in the drawdown. But if we come back down to break even, then my probability will be back at 66% roughly. So we'll see how that goes. Not a great start, but whatever. Yeah, so that's how I do the funding ticks risk. We should talk about a Forex one though, I think. Here, let me look at the chat real quick. Funded with 200K, 50K stocks. Oh yeah, you blew everything. Yeah, I mean, but if you're funded and you blow the account, that's part of the process, right? Like you're not going to hold a funded account for years. That's not really the purpose of prop firms, unless you're trading extremely low risk and you're trying to make alpha on the account, which is pretty much on pace with the profit of the stock market, which is around 10% year over year. So the problem is, like, because we're day trading, our exposure to risk is much higher. Therefore, we're going to have periods of drawdown which breach accounts. But the goal is just to look at it from like a 1 year window and say, okay, what was my net profit over the course of the year with trading prop firms, right? Not what was my profit in September or what was my profit in May. It's like, what was my profit over the whole year? That's really the only way you can look at it, because I've had months that were red as well, and then I have months that are very green, and then you kind of get like this overall picture at the end of the year. This live is being recorded, correct? Yeah. All right. When you end up breaching on the 1% risk max per trade rule with some firms, yeah, that's why, Chris, I try to avoid prop firms that have max risk per trade during the challenge, right? Usually the it's 2% is the lowest I've seen for a challenge, and I risk 1.5% anyway on Forex challenges. But if you have a prop firm that says you can't risk more than 1% per trade, I wouldn't even do that prop firm. It's just too hard to pass. You have to make 10% on the account, and you can only risk 1%. That's going to take a long time. It's a lot of work for a very low probability outcome. Can you share the EA settings you use for the challenges? Yeah, we have a full dashboard full of EA settings. Full dashboard. You can use any one of those, or you can optimize your own too if you like. I understand for the first trade. Now say you make 1K on day one. The next day you aim for 1K again with a reverse. Yes, you're still risking. So every trade on these futures evals, you are risking whatever you have on the drawdown. Whatever you have. Every time. As long as it's allowed. It is allowed for funding ticks. It is allowed for top one futures. So that's what I do. What settings do I use for my challenges? Well, I just run one input. I just optimize my own just so it's unique, right? Just so we don't have a bunch of people trading. It's very similar to whatever's on the dashboard. It's nothing special. Okay, so let's look at let's go to fund. Let's go to like Fivers, I think. Let's go to Fivers. I'm gonna take a look at Fivers because they have like specific conditions we can kind of work around here. All right. How do we do this? Oh, here we go. High stakes. I am a human, trust me. Okay, here we go. Get out of here. There we go. All right, let's go to 100K. Okay, so here is a classic two-step prop firm challenge with Forex. Now, this is going to be way different than futures in most cases, just because the profit targets are so much higher and they have daily loss limits, and there's also issues with risk. Like the futures are a lot more lenient. Because with futures they give you max contract size, so as long as you stay within that, you can do whatever you want, right? But with Forex, it's a lot more gray area, right? So we've kind of over the last year we've been like dabbling a little bit, and we kind of mess around with like, okay, how risky can we go while still being reasonable to the prop firm, still passing in a reasonable amount of time, but not going for these all-in one-day passes, which you get flagged for. So what we do typically for a challenge like this is we risk 1.5% per trade, taking 2 trades per day roughly. And usually the risk to reward is between 1.5 and a 2R. So it'll look like this. Where's my pencil? So 1.5%. Where's my point? Oh man, that's so bad. 1.5% per trade, right? And then like two trades per day. Oh, there we go. And usually like we could even say just like a 1.5 R to keep it simple. I don't know why that's not working. It wasn't meant to be. I think I'm too zoomed in. That's why. Oh, I'm too zoomed in. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, you get the point. So the thing is, like, if you win both of these trades, 1.5 R, 1.5%, if you take the calculator out, times 1.5 is 2.25% per win. So if you get two of those, you'd be up 4.5% on the day, right? Which is great. So that's typically what I aim for. I usually don't go over that too much because then you start making too much per day. And you just want to avoid that. You want to have reasonable gains per day with a prop firm. Now, some prop firms won't even care. They'll only care during the funded stage. But just to keep it like consistent across all my firms, I will do the 1.5% risk per trade and a 1.5 R roughly. Sometimes they'll do a 2 R. But you can go between 1.5 and 2 R. That's totally fine. I wouldn't go too much higher because then your probability to lose the trade becomes a little bit too much, and then you can go into drawdown easier. So, what we want to do is we want to make sure, and it does a couple other important things. They have minimum trading days, and a lot of prop firms do this where you need to make X profitable days to make a trading day. So because you're only making like 4.5% max in a day, you're naturally going to achieve those 3 trading days while you're working your way up to the profit target of 8%. Now, sometimes if you get really lucky, you'll win both days back to back, and you'll need to make a third trading day. So that is where I do the inverse again. So I'll do a 1 to 3 inverse where I will risk the 1.5% and I will target the 0.5% profit. So I have a very high probability to win the trade and pass the challenge, right? So that's how I trade these ones here. So it's very simple. Like, we don't need to complicate it. And the reason why 1.5% is good is because if you go super high with your percentage, you're going to have issues with spread costs, commission costs, because your lot sizes are going to be out of control. And that's why I always recommend trading gold too, because it has enough volatility to where you don't need to open huge lot sizes, which will cost huge amount of spreads, right? You can keep it reasonable like that. So yeah. So this trade's probably gonna destroy me, but that's okay. You know, yesterday I did pretty well. I did 1, 2, 3. So I have lots of accounts to trade today. And then this one. Oh yeah, this one's passed. I wonder if they gave me my funded account yet. See, you see what I mean? I went a little bit over by accident. That's okay. That's going to happen sometimes, some slippage and stuff, but it should be okay. Going over is okay. Daniel, do you risk the total drawdown to get 40% consistency? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I risk the total drawdown on the futures accounts every time. Every single time. The only problem is futures challenges that don't allow or they have a max daily loss limit, and those challenges will be harder to pass naturally. That's why they have them. If it was more profitable for them not to have daily loss, then they would offer that because, you know, it's an easier sell as well. But they know. Oh, sorry. I was under the weather for a few days, so I'm recovering still. I find it difficult to pass 100 pro accounts. Do you also face difficulty? Yeah, they're super hard because you need 8% profit for phase 2, which is really high. 10% phase 1, 8% phase 2. It's too high. And then on the funded accounts now, they added some kind of margin rule or something. So I don't even trade them anymore, unfortunately. I like them a lot, but they added the rule. In the MT5 backtest section, which modeling option gives more accurate results? Real time based on ticks. 1 minute OHLC is just for efficiency because you can run backtests a lot quicker. So, obviously, every tick is going to be more efficient, but the processing is going to be a lot higher. Okay, I think that's all I can talk right now, guys. I'm going to start coughing and everyone's going to just want to leave. Yeah, so hopefully that helps a little bit. We'll go over more risk concepts later. That's kind of a really quick breakdown. So hopefully you guys found a little bit of value in that, and you can test it out for yourself, see how it feels. Just always try it for yourself, see how it feels. Don't take my word for it. You can try it out. Okay, guys, I will be live tomorrow morning. We're going to trade New York session, so I will see you in the VIP. Thanks for coming out, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.